Welcome to Kitschy Cabin. I'm your host. I've prepared graham crackers and marshmallows and chocolate bars, but no fire, so it's gonna be cold s'mores. Just cold, rock-hard s'mores. This is the intro we're going with. Okay, today we are going to be looking at this deck of Thera-Pets cards. The 64 emotional support animal cards. These are illustrated and written by Kate Allen. There's going to be a link, as always, in the description if you'd like to get your own deck. I highly recommend it. I've gotten a little bit of a look at the cards inside, and they're all very beautiful and very cute. So first off, let's talk about how huge these are. So when I ordered these, I thought that they would be a lot smaller, like way smaller than they are. I'm sure that if I had taken a closer look at the listing, it would have specifically told me the exact size of these cards, and I would not be so surprised. But I'm lazy, and I don't read things as much as I should, so here we are. So first off, packaging. It's gonna be hard because of how big these are and because of how janky my camera setup is to really give y'all a full idea of the box and everything. Very cute box. A nice little, description of the cards here. 64 cards with cute little animals and like little messages of support. I also like the way this opens. I'm very partial to like the classic sort of slide open, box opening thing for cards. But I really like you have like a little door. Like a little door to your cards. Again, it's hard to show you all of this because these are gigantic. These are huge, which I say not in a bad way, but they're huge, so it's hard to get the whole box on camera. So let's get to the actual cards. First, we have just like a title card, sort of. These are also, we'll talk about this more when we get into like the actual illustrations, but these are very like shiny. These are pretty sturdy, like a little floppy, I would say sort of playing card type material as far as the cardstock goes, which is very nice. It's not like super stiff, but it's sturdy enough that I feel like it could handle like some shuffling if you wanted to shuffle this giant deck of emotional support cards for whatever reason. How to use the Thera-Pets card deck. 1. Emotional support. Read through when you're feeling overwhelmed, sad, or not good enough. 2. Harness inner wisdom. Shuffle the deck, then pick a few cards at random. Ponder how the animals, colors, or affirmations are relevant to your life. So if anyone's familiar with tarot decks or oracle decks being sort of a non-traditional tarot deck that you use like a tarot deck, where you shuffle the cards, pick 3 or 5 out, and come up with a reading based on that. This is sort of what this one is saying. Like, use this like an oracle deck, shuffle all the cards together, place a few out, and then try and see, what sort of wisdom you can get from that pairing. Number 3, daily reminders. Place your favorite cards on your fridge, desk, and bathroom mirror. They also make great bookmarks. This is, again, pretty huge for a bookmark. I don't know, though. I'm used to, like, the slim sort of tall bookmarks, but I guess you could use it as a bookmark. It's not like it wouldn't fit, like, straight up. And this is a nice little note from the author, and I think this is... Yep, okay, here's the first one. So, these are a little hard to just get one at a time out of the box like this. So, I'm gonna take a second and just pour them all out and lay them out on the desk. We're gonna spend some time with each card. Not too long, because there's 64 cards in here, but I wanna really take time to appreciate all the art and stuff as much as we can. I'm just gonna pop them all out, we'll look at them, and then we'll go from there. This card is the only one I have doubles of. For some reason, I got 2 of these. This squid, which is fine. I love this squid, so I don't particularly mind. It's just odd. Okay, so that's all the illustrated ones. Here at the end of the deck, we have a little thank you for reading the deck, a little about the author card, and then the sort of copyright thing. Now that we've seen all the illustrations, I'm just gonna pick out like a couple of my favorites, and I'm gonna have them on hand as I talk about, the deck as a whole. Okay, so we're gonna put these like 50-something cards back in the box for now, and then I kept a couple out. Just to talk about. So the first thing that comes to my mind when I look at this deck is that you have a lot of like variety in the different art styles and just the graphical choices. I was gonna say the font is more or less consistent. This is the very first card in the deck, and then this is a little bit further in, and even that's pretty different. 64 cards is a pretty huge undertaking, and she's done a very good job here of making them all feel pretty unique. I think these 2 red pandas are like the most similar looking cards, both because they're the same animal and we have like kind of the same color scheme. But even then you have the differential of like, this is obviously a different quote. You have like the stars in this one's coat versus this is just a regular red panda. And there is a slightly different sort of color saturation. This is a little more orangey. So for the most part, all of these feel very distinct. The deck sort of goes through like phases, which is cool. You have like this cutesy phase of the deck, the colored line art, and like very soft sort of shading. And then there's this this like era of the deck. I think this is a fennec fox here, and then you've got this weasel. At first I just thought, oh, like that's a cool like pastel color scheme. If you look closely, you can see like these are clouds, those are stars behind it, and this is like a sunset, and that is cool as hell. So here's another example. At first I looked at this one and I was like, oh, that's a cool like color scheme with the white and the blue. And then you look at it closer and you realize, oh, those are all clouds. That is awesome. So you have, you know, sky hamster and space flying squirrel. Here you have sort of the space theme again, but I really love this like repeated theme of, you know, the sky and space. And oh, here, this one's beautiful. So this is, I think, my favorite of the like using the landscape / sky as the coat of the animal. You know, you can see the snow-capped hills, the moon here, the tree line, and then the sky and the stars. It's just pretty. This is, again, a lot of the things I have to say about this deck just sort of boil down to, it's pretty. But yeah, definitely, as far as variation goes, a lot of variation in both the artwork and then the, you know, phrases, the little sayings. You have a lot of variety, a lot of new stuff to look at. And it's impressive. It's hard when you're creating a series to make 64 different iterations of this idea that you have and make them all feel unique and cool, and they all do. The flip side of having so much variation in your deck, I am a person that tends to like sort of a synergy. Synergy sounds so stupid. Is there a better way to say this? Like a, I don't know, continuity, but like a common sort of feeling in a deck. I prefer to have that generally. And in a lot of ways, this deck feels like sort of 3 or 4 separate decks. You know, you have like this space sky deck and this like sunset pastel sort of deck. This is a great example of this flying squirrel and this cat, which again, I love both of these cards. And I love the like striking contrast of this one. I love the beautiful, vibrant colors of this one, but they feel like they are from 2 entirely different decks. Is that a bad thing? No, not necessarily. It's just generally for like collectors sort of stuff. I prefer it the other way around, where you have sort of a common visual style throughout the deck. But again, I think most people would get this not as a collector's item, because it kind of isn't a collector's item, but as a motivational tool, which having that variety, I think, in this sort of thing helps. You know, I think the fact that you can pull out a card from this deck and have it look entirely different from the card before, that feels more effective motivation-wise to me. I don't know why. Hard to explain, but it's like, it makes tomorrow feel different than today, which is the vaguest thing I could have just said, but hopefully throughout all of the rambling I just did, I can, in editing, make it seem like I'm smart. But aside from the mixing visual language, I do love this deck. One thing I really love about a lot of these cards, especially a lot of these like, you know, space cards, is how vibrant these colors are. I have a really, really strong like feeling of sort of harmony and energy and vibrance in a lot of these like space themed cards that I'm sure the camera will not be able to entirely pick up on, just because, again, my recording setup is not great. But just trust me, when you look at them in person, these are absolutely stunning. They're very vibrant, they're happy. These are very happy cards. And again, it's not going to look nearly as amazing on camera because my phone hates me, but it looks really, really nice in real life, and it's very crisp and bright, and it's just great. It fits the sort of genre of deck this is very well, like the emotional support, calming message every day kind of deck. So if you remember this how to use the deck card that we pulled at the beginning, this second point here is shuffle the deck, pick a few cards at random, and ponder how the animals, colors, or affirmations are relevant to your life. That sounds like a cool thing, and I am honestly mostly just curious as to how you could shuffle a deck this big. So we're gonna try that out, and I'm gonna take all of the cards, put them back together in a big pile, and we're gonna try and shuffle them, and then we're gonna try and do a little oracle reading. I am unfortunately very bad at shuffling cards, so that's gonna be a complicating issue. These are not as hard to shuffle as I thought they would be. I thought this would be super hard. And again, if you're seeing me struggle with the cards, know that it is because I'm bad at shuffling in the first place. So I stand corrected on that front. These are pretty easy to shuffle. We're gonna do 3 cards off the top of the shuffled deck. Okay. So first we have, you're not going to succeed at everything you try, and that's okay. Then we've got, it's all going to work out fine. It's a little German Shepherd buddy. And then, whatever happens today, you will make it through, this little owl. So yeah, those are your little motivations for the day. And this has been the Thera-Pets Emotional Support Animal Cards deck. Again, I really love this deck. It's adorable, and I do overall really like the variety of it. I don't do number ratings because they make me nervous. But we're gonna rate this deck It's a Wonderful Life, as in the Christmas movie. Because I'm not always in the mood for it, and I don't always have the patience, but when I do, I sit down and I spend some time with it, and it makes me happy, and it makes me feel comforted, and it's a classic. So thank you for joining us today. Remember that whatever happens today, you will make it through, and remember that you're wonderful. I hope you enjoyed these affirmations, and I hope you come back and join us at the cabin next time for some other cards and doodads and whatnot, maybe some tarot cards. I have a really cool tarot deck that I've been waiting to break into, so let me know if you want to see that, because I would love to make a video about that. But let me know if you want that, or let me know if you want something else. Just let me know. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.